What's up, Star Wars fans and action figure collectors? Darth Collector here, and today we are updating our Rebel Alliance action figure collection video because before, while I haven't actually gotten anything new, there was a lot of stuff I didn't include in the first one, and I just felt like I could do it better in a different format. So we're gonna go take a look at all that. Please be sure to subscribe if you want to support the dream. Let's get into it. Alright, so now we got two shelves instead of one. Last time it was just the figures in this shelf, and none of the ones that were here were really in there, especially not, the vehicle and the escape pod in the other one. So taking a look here first, in here, all this is essentially is just Battle of Hoth stuff. So I made a video yesterday with some Battle of Hoth stuff as well, but in here we've got two X-Wing pilots, we've got the vintage Rebel Snowspeeder, two more vintage pilots, then on this side just a bunch of vintage and Power of the Force 2 Rebels. So we got the Han Solo one here that's vintage, we've got the vintage Commander, and then we've got R5-D4 who's not vintage, and then back here we got a vintage R2, and then a couple medical droids, X-Wing pilot, C-3PO, and a vintage Tauntaun with a Luke riding on top of it. So that's kind of it for the first shelf. Let's look at the second one. Over here, you may notice I just have a bunch of figures going from A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, to Return of the Jedi. So there's a couple questionable ones in the second row, but we'll get to that in a sec. So as for down here, I've got the Vintage Collection X-Wing pilot Luke Skywalker, Black Series Han Solo, Revenge of the Sith Chewbacca. I don't know if it's Black Series or not, but I feel like it is that Luke. Got C-3PO, a couple other guys over here, Power of the Force Obi-Wan, and Vintage Leia. As I mentioned in the last Rebellion video, I only have one Leia, and that was a major voice crack, by the way. Apologize. Moving up a row, here's the Empire Strikes Back stuff with a bunch of the Cloud City figures. So we got Lando, Lobot, the Cloud Car pilot, and Luke from Cloud City, and those are all vintage. Same with the Han and Chewie. And then you'll notice we've got Chirrut back here because he's like one of my only Rogue One figures, and so I just snuck him in. Got Luke, we got Yoda, a couple Ugnaughts who aren't actually part of the Rebellion, but they just kind of filled up the space. This random droid also to fill up space. And then these two, technically in the movie, they were actually bounty hunters. You saw them to hunt down Han Solo. But in the expanded universe, they actually joined the Rebellion on that super galactic plane, like where they were at the end of Empire Strikes Back. Forlom and Zuckuss were there joining the Rebellion. It's in one of the Tales of the Bounty Hunters novels. So, looking over here, we've got the Return of the Jedi shelf, and on the left we've got a Power of the Force Rebel soldier with a couple Ewoks next to him. We've got Lando, two Prude faces, Admiral Akbar who has one arm, vintage Luke, another Rogue One figure, and then a couple more vintage figures, so looking pretty good in there. Another thing I didn't mention, I got this vintage carry case, so all the figures in here I have except for Ben Kenobi, and I also got Luke's Tatooine thing vintage as well. So I didn't mention that in the Rebellion part, and there's a few other figures sprinkled around my collection from the EU that were technically part of the Rebellion, but they're really not renowned for that. So I just showed these ones. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Later this week, I'm going to be doing a video on that vintage carry case specifically if you want to see that. So make sure you hit the notifications so you can see that when it goes up. And overall, I just really appreciate all the support. We reached 150 subscribers, which is really exciting. So let's try to get it to 200. And overall, have a great day or night wherever you may be. And may the Force be with you always. Peace out.